Got him.
Yeah.
Oh, got him. Oh.
Way up. It looked a little bit shallower.
Feels like a good one, Dan. Yeah, it's a good fish. Good fish, Nano.
All right.
Loving it.
Like McDonald's, you're loving it?
Yeah. Oh man, she's tough. There you go.
There you go, Al. Ooh, another big one on the jig. Dun, 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 dun. What are some of the things that trigger walleyes into biting? Is it size, shape, or color?
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Walleyes like this are a dream for me when I'm catching them on a jig type bait. Man, these are big fish. Beautiful. Look at they're eating healthy, wide variety. These are eating minnows, shiners, tullibes, big open water bait fish. Hey, what's your favorite color bait? Yeah, your favorite color. Let's say for a walleye, for a muskie, for a smallmouth bass, a crappie, a bluegill. We all got a favorite color. Let's talk a little bit about color in today's show.
You know, when it comes to color in fishing, a lot of it is subjective, and a lot of that comes from your confidence with a particular color catching fish. You know, for me, for example, growing up, if I was to go jig worming largemouth bass on a weed line, I would grab a black and purple ribbon tail. It just caught so many fish on them. And it still works today, but there's a variety of different colors, you know, that work. And a lot of that, it comes from confidence, you know, trying different colors. And I remember back in the day, Al got onto this kick and he was catching smallmouth bass on pink cigar baits. And I'm like, what in the world? And these fish were just drilling this bait. And I'm like, nothing in nature looks like that. You know what I mean? So it depends on, you got to try different stuff and experiment. And that's how you build confidence in different colors. There we go.
You got him?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That felt good.
I can tell it. I can see it. Well, there's some big ones on here, Dan.
Yeah, this side.
Some real big gals here.
I got
yeah.
I got a got a real. Oh,
We've
look
just
at
been
that.
steady. Been steady. There ain't no little fish. We ain't catching any little today.
Well, right.
They're all good ones coming your way, bro.
All right.
And I'm dropping a net and I'm going to catch my fish.
Okie dokie. Let me show you this bad boy. Whoop, easy, Thunder. Boy, that one had a good attitude, like all of these walleyes do on jigs, and some super duper new colors. You know, over the last, say, 6 years or so, a lot of our marketing partners have came out with these non-traditional colors. I mean, explosive colors that you don't even see in nature. It's, you know what I mean? And it's fascinating. They've taken every different category of baits, you know, like the jigging wraps. You look at them nowadays and it's like, what is this thing? You know, and down to like the soft baits. Big Bite Baits has got a whole line of baits that are just wildly colored, and it's fun to fish with these different baits and see how effective they can be, you know what I mean? And trying these different colors is fun. They always say that colors are used to catch anglers and not fish. And that's not the case. These colors are designed to catch fish, and you just got to put them in the right situation. Let's take a look at some understanding of walleye's visual perception. Understanding walleye vision is crucial to fishing success. Walleyes have eyes that can easily gather light, which gives them the advantage over their prey during low light hours and at night, especially on a clear night under the moon and stars. We also know because of their large cone cells in the back of their eye that walleyes don't see detail very well. Basically, cone cell size is a lot like a pixel size on your TV, computer monitor, or digital photo. So the larger the cell, the more blurry the picture, where more and smaller cells would offer more details. What's the best color?
A lot of different colored lures have been proven to produce more fish depending on conditions. However, science reviews that walleyes have color vision and can best see orange, red, green portions of the spectrum. So oranges and reds and greens and yellows. They don't see ultraviolet, UV light, although the addition to UV brighteners to lures may make some colors seem brighter, making them easier to spot underwater. Like most fish, walleyes in clear water can sense movement well at a distance, in the best light perhaps out to 50 feet or so.
Good, big one, big one. Big, big fish.
Oh, wow, wee wah. What'd you get him on there?
Hang on, get him in there. Get him in there.
Yay!
Oh, all right. I got to show you this. Let me step in the back here.
Oh, wow, that's another dandy, Al.
Oh man, here. Oh boy. That felt great. Great. What a walleye. Oh, boy, that's a good one. Woo!
You know, we're talking about colors of lures for walleyes, but there's also been a lot of additions in line color. Suffolk makes a ton of different colored lines for a variety of reasons. For example, bright colored lines for bite detection. So color isn't just for baits, it applies to line as well.
Got him.
Ooh, yeah.
So there
Did
was
you
two
see
of
that
them
one
there.
on Mega Live?
Yes, there's two of them there.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get the, won't be greedy, I'll get the net for you. Okay.
I could feel the head shake.
Can you?
Yeah, when you go like this,
Woo, woo,
whoosh,
woo, woo.
whoosh. You know, that you can feel the big, big fish.
Oh, wow, yes. Oh, don't. Ah, look at that team net job.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh,
That is
man.
Whoa!
Oh, I seen this fish.
Mamma mia!
She stood out like a sore thumb
I
on,
bet.
on the Mega Live. There was two of them in there. Oh, man. Oh, Dano, this is one of the bigger fish we've had today by a long shot. That's a trophy walleye no matter where you're fishing, even in Lake Erie or Sturgeon Bay. Catching fish like this, jigging, is so much fun. Let me release this baby. I don't want to hurt her. Boy, is this a beautiful one. Wow. See you later, baby. Boy, what a fish that was. That'll probably be the biggest fish we catch today, that's for sure. And here was the color she bit in. Let me show you my backup color. These are the two colors I've been using today. How many colors like this do you have in jigs in here in your tackle box? Probably a whole lot of you are shaking your head and saying, no, not really. If you're a walleye fisherman, in particular a walleye fisherman, I want to encourage you, dress it up a little bit, step up to the plate, get really silly with colors, and you're going to be amazed at the amount of fish you're going to catch. Again, especially if you're a walleye fisherman, but this holds true for smallmouth bass, crappie, muskie. Want to catch more fish and have more fun this season? Just load it up with different colors.
You know, the interesting thing when we're talking about color, sometimes it's lack of color. And for example, some of the best walleye bites Al and I have gotten into in really, really dark water lakes, super dingy, is using black colors. So color isn't always super bright, brilliant colors. Sometimes it's lack of color.
For me, one of my favorite rod series in the St. Croix line, and they got quite a few rods at different price points. Day in and day out, the Avid series has been around a lot of years, and it's like a bread and butter rod. They upgraded it a little bit, and they got a number of different actions in the walleye area of the Avid rod. And take a look at it. For the money, you can't beat it. And day in and day out for walleye fishing, the Daiwa LT, yeah, you know, this is the Fuego XH. Can't go wrong. You match these things up, and you're going to be fishing good equipment for a reasonable price.
You know, when you're pop jigging these breaks in Canada, it can be pretty tough. You know, there's a lot of rocks out here, and if you're not diligent, you'll lose a lot of jigs. And the important thing to note is your depth and speed control is these two things right here and your eyeballs. When you're casting out there and walking this bait off of these breaks, you gotta be conscious of where your bait is at in the water column at all times. Otherwise, you fish it too slow, boom, it's in the rocks, you're hung up, you're retying, and it gets frustrating, gets old. So what I'm talking about is, we're using your eyes. You can see these big boulders right here. If I cast over the top of this and I wait too long and that jig drops down, it'll get tied up in those rocks. So you're always watching with your side imaging, engaging how far you can cast, 60 feet, and how you want to work that bait back across this stuff. Now you look up here, there's going to be some small little rip-rappy type rocks. These are not as threatening as those, so you can make a longer cast over these, let it sink to the bottom, and fish it a little bit more freely across this stuff. And these fish are out here roaming on these little patches of rocks and stuff like that.
When you find walleyes on two different kind of situations, a lot of times they're on slow tapering flats, and then a lot of times they're on sharper vertical drop-offs. When you get on these real sharp edges, it's just a small pop and you let it fall down the edge. You just move it a little distance. You don't jerk it real hard. When they get on slow tapering flats, you've got to be overly aggressive with your jig. And you pop it like this, lift the rod this way, snap the rod this way, so you make the jig come up high and it increases the strike zone. And you'd be amazed, some of these fish, when you're seeing that jig, they're down their throat because you're hopping it real high and they're just coming up grabbing it. So pay attention to this. It holds true no matter where you fish and the kind of structure you're fishing walleyes on.
You can see this is exactly what I was talking about. You see this flat right here, how deep that is? That's when you want that bait launching and lobbing down the thing. When you get to breaks like this, where they're real narrow, that's when you want those short little pops. They want that bait just vertical, up, down, up, down.
You know, I was thinking about when we really started to get tuned in to how important color could be. It happened in a professional walleye tournament trail, which we were involved in for 18 years, and we grew the walleye market big time. And as we started to go to the Great Lakes regularly, big reservoirs, particularly in the Dakotas, you know, the guys started playing with, at that time, spinners were a big deal. Spinners and bottom bouncers, spinners and three-ways. You know, and they started doing things with their spinners as far as color. And then pretty soon, I mean, they came up with some crazy colors and they were winning tournaments with it. And then pretty soon, the hard bait companies started coming up with different colors. The professional walleye fishermen were saying, we need this, 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 and this. And this color explosion started in the world of the walleyes with spinners. And then over time, it morphed into jigs and hair jigs and all of the other baits that we're throwing. And we've learned that walleyes like color a lot and can at sometimes be incredibly color selective on some bodies of water. And they're usually hot colors.
You know, when you talk to some of these walleye pros, whether they're tournament fishermen or guides, and we've done a lot of it filming with these guys in the past, and you go out in their boat and they got boxes and boxes and boxes of crankbaits and down deep husky jerks, and they got every different color. They got 4 or 5 of every different color under the rainbow, and there's a reason why, because when these guys go out and let's say they're trolling, for example, they'll set out 4 different color patterns and boom, all of a sudden they get bit on one, change all 4 of them out immediately. But the thing is, they're always mixing it up and they're changing, putting different colors on, and it's crazy. One day it'll be Wonder Bread, the next day it'll be like purple. So that's the reason they have so many different colors of baits. And you see companies like Rapala every year, they may not have a new lure category come out. What they have is color extensions. That means they take an already existing bait, like the down deep husky jerk. The thing works, it'll never go off the assembly line, but they make different colors to it and they bring those to the market, and those are brought to the market because they get requests from guys on the East Coast, West Coast, wherever they're at. They're like, we need this color, we need this color. They're calling Dan Quinn saying, can you put this in the lineup? So they listen to what anglers want and they appeal to them.
Ooh, this baby's got some shoulders, guys. I'm saying it's the biggest fish of the day, Dan. Boy, this thing's moving. Ooh, she's a donkey. Oh yeah, holy mackerel. She's a queen.
Don't panic.
Don't panic, don't panic. I'm gonna come back by you a little
Yeah,
bit.
go to the back there. Got
Yeah,
a
I'm
little
gonna.
bit more room
This
to
is a
play.
big one. I don't want to lose her. I need some stills. We need some stills for social media. Ooh. Boy, is she a fatso, huh?
Yeah.
Oh
Little
man.
big guy.
Lay her down.
Whoa.
Lay her down here. Let me get her up. So I don't want her shaking in the
Yep,
net.
yep.
You know, no matter where you go these days, most people agree that we are seeing more pressure on our lakes than we've ever seen before. Intelligent pressure. You know, not only walleyes like this, but bass and crappies and muskies. More pressure. I'm gonna put this fish back. Oh man. And what that means, we're seeing more changes in colors. Color patterns last 2 or 3 days or 2 or 3 years on a hot lake. Then it changes. But you're seeing to catch more fish, you even got to be changing more colors. And fishing pressure is real, it's here, and that's another reason to pay attention to color changes. Get rid of now don't get rid of your traditional colors, add to them and play a little bit, and more than likely, your catch ratio is gonna go up some. Great book, When God Doesn't Make Sense. Have I been there before? I gotta share kind of a fun story with you. Just happened recently. We're on a film shoot to North Dakota. My nephew Dan is going, and our friend Ty Shadeen, who I'm going to be filming with. Danny's doing the shooting. School just started here. He's in the back of the car hacking and coughing, and the kids came back from school, and him and his wife both got sick. The kids were sick. He's carrying a bug. He's taking meds. He's got a mask on. We're kind of watching it. But we got the other camera guys are everywhere else. He had no other choice. He says, I got to go. So we go. And we get out there. We get kind of settled in. And a couple days later, pretty soon, I hear Ty. He starts hacking and coughing. You know, we're out in the boat, but we're getting the job done. We had a good bite of fish, great story, line. And I'm coming back and I'm thinking, I probably dodged this thing. We left a day early and thinking, Lord, I've dodged a bullet on this one. And so we get home, we get settled in. The next morning I wake up and I felt just a little bit off. Next morning, much more off. Come Wednesday, terrible. I mean, I'm coughing, I'm hacking, I'm sick, I feel I'm just a mess. And so this goes on day after day after day, and being a macho man, that a mighty man of faith that I am, I'm standing on, I'm healed and whole, and I'm going to get through this, and that's a good deal. I don't have to go to no doctors. I don't have to go to the doctor. That went long enough until Sunday, and a friend of mine, she called me. She said, Al, I'm taking you into the doctor now. Get in the car now. So I go into urgent care in Brainerd. They checked me all out, and and I had a real bad, besides a bug of some kind, on top of that, I got a real bad dose of bronchitis. And for a week long, I couldn't say 2 sentences without coughing. You can still hear it in my voice. You can tell I'm a little bit off there. So that went on, and then they put me on these meds for 5 days, and that took 5 days for the antibiotic. The whole thing played out for 2 weeks. And I'm talking to God after that. I'm finally talking to him, actually just yesterday morning. Saying, boy, it feels good to start to feel good. He says, you could have felt good a lot quicker. I said, what do you mean? He says, Al, I want to bless my people, and I give them modern medical miracles. You have doctors that are specialists that can take care of all different kinds of things. I understand your faith, standing on a word on that, but I've given you these things to make your life better. I want you to be blessed. I want you to enjoy your life fulfilled. You get an attack, like there's nothing wrong with going to the doctor, getting some meds, and getting yourself fixed up ASAP. You didn't have to go that extra long week and a half. You could have got it fixed better, faster, quicker. So I had to repent and say, thank you, Lord. Next time I'll listen better. I missed this one, but I'm not going to miss the next one. I don't want to go through this baby again. I had to share that with you, a current update of where I am, and right now, I'm feeling pretty darn good today. Hey, from all of us here at The Edge, you have a good, safe fishing season. We'll see you on the water.
Closed captioning is provided by Smooth Moves, adjustable boat seat suspensions for a smoother ride. This segment is brought to you by Sunset Country, Ontario, Canada. You gotta come visit.
So that was on a number 8 shad wrap.
Your style of boat control is really key.
One that was there from the very beginning.
You want to be able to see in the water. The adventure begins.
We are loaded for bear. We got
There's so many different ways to fish for walleye. Dependability and efficiency.
Simple, fast, and easy.
The best rods on the planet. They like to eat when you're throwing the right thing.
You don't have all bluebird flat calm days.
Just a perfect eating size fish. See, that's what I'm talking about, these Daiwa drags.
We got walleye stuff, we got crappie stuff, we got pike stuff.
This boat is rigged up about as nice.
Easy to use, and it flat out works.
It's a must-have when you're talking about big waves. Well, these trout are so darn tough.
Incredible 11-year warranty.